Hey everyone, and welcome. So, what do a controversial philosopher, a pioneering plastic surgeon, and a modern-day business genius have in common? It sounds like the setup for a weird joke, right? But what if I told you that by combining their core ideas you get one of the most powerful frameworks for achievement I have ever seen? We're calling it the Creator's Stack, and it might just be the thing that helps you finally unlock your true potential.
Okay, let's just start right here. $5 million a year in pure profit without adding a single new service. I mean, let that sink in. This isn't just some small tweak or a little business hack. A result like this tells you something fundamental has changed. We're talking about a completely different way of thinking.
So what is the secret? How do you even begin to generate that kind of value? Well, I can tell you what it's not. It's not about working yourself to the bone, putting in 100-hour weeks, or just grinding harder. It's about having a better mental framework, a better model for how success actually works.
And this gets us to something I call the potential paradox. You know that feeling, right? That nagging sense that you are capable of so much more, but you just feel stuck. It feels like you're just banging your head against the same wall over and over again. If you've ever felt that, believe me, you are not alone.
Here's the good news. That feeling isn't a personal failure. It's a framework failure. You're just using the wrong map to get to where you want to go. The solution, and what we're going to break down today, is to build a stack, a set of interconnected layers where each one supports the next, creating this incredibly solid structure for achievement.
So every great structure starts with the foundation, right? And so does our stack. This is layer one, your why. And for this, we're drawing from the philosophy of Ayn Rand. The whole idea is that before you can build anything that lasts, you need a rock-solid piece of intellectual ground to stand on.
Fundamentally, this layer is about giving yourself the moral permission to succeed for your own sake. It's a philosophy that says your creative work, your vision, is the absolute center of your universe. Without that deep conviction, your drive is always going to be watered down by self-doubt or chasing validation from other people. And this really frames a critical choice we all have to make. Are you a creator, driven by your own reason, your own purpose, or are you what Rand called a second-hander? Someone who lives, as the name suggests, second-hand, through the opinions and approval of others. Your entire life is basically filtered through what other people think. Understanding which one you are is honestly the first giant step.
I love this quote because it just perfectly captures the mindset. For the creator, work isn't just a job. It's this all-consuming fire that purifies their focus. It's a total, unwavering dedication to producing value. And this is the unshakable foundation that everything else we're going to talk about is built on.
Okay, so with that strong why in place, now you need the engine. You need the how. And this brings us right to layer two, your internal operating system. For this, we're pulling from the absolutely groundbreaking work of a surgeon, Dr. Maxwell Maltz. Maltz made this incredible discovery. He realized our brain functions kind of like the guidance system in a heat-seeking missile. It has this built-in servo mechanism that automatically steers you towards whatever target you feed it. The wild part is, it doesn't question the target, it just locks on and goes. And here is the crucial bit. The target your brain aims for, it's dictated entirely by your self-image. Your self-image is the master program running the whole show. If it's programmed for success, your mind will automatically, unconsciously, find ways to win. But if it's programmed for failure, it will just as automatically find ways to self-sabotage. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds a little out there, doesn't it? Can you really just think your way into a better self-image and reprogram your brain? Well, Maltz pointed to some pretty fascinating evidence that says, yes, absolutely. And this study just brilliantly illustrates the power of this. Check this out. In a famous experiment, they took 3 groups of basketball players. One group physically practiced free throws for 20 minutes a day, and they improved by 24%. The group that did nothing, well, they improved by 0%, no surprise there. But here's the crazy part. The third group only mentally rehearsed shooting. They just imagined it. Their improvement? 23%. Almost the exact same as the people who actually practiced. So here is the mind-blowing takeaway from that. Your nervous system literally cannot tell the difference between a real experience and one that you imagine vividly and in detail. What does that mean for you? It means you can actually install a success mechanism by repeatedly and emotionally rehearsing the outcomes you want, right in the theater of your own mind. Okay, so you've got your philosophy, your why. You've programmed your internal operating system, your how. But how do you actually apply this stuff to the real world to get results?
This brings us to the top of the stack, layer 3, the what. And this comes from entrepreneur Alex Hormozi and his concept of the Grand Slam offer.
This is the whole game right here. This is the guiding principle. Your goal isn't just to be a little better than the competition. The goal is to create a value proposition that is so powerful, so overwhelmingly compelling that the customer sees it as the only logical choice. You literally want them to feel like they would be an idiot to pass it up.
Now, the secret weapon here isn't about adding more stuff, more features, more bonuses. It's actually about subtraction. It's about focusing all of your value, like a laser beam, on a very specific niche. See, when you solve a precise, high-stakes problem for a very specific group of people, the perceived value of what you offer just skyrockets.
Let's make this real. Imagine you create a course on time management. It's super generic. In a massive, crowded market like that, what's it really worth? Maybe 19 bucks? It's a total commodity. You're competing with absolutely everyone.
But watch what happens. What if you take that exact same core information, but you package it as time management for B2B outbound sales reps? Whoa! Suddenly, it is not a generic course. It's a specific solution to a very expensive problem. For a sales rep, closing just one extra deal could be worth thousands, which makes a $499 price tag a complete no-brainer. I mean, that's a 25 times increase in price for basically the same content. That is the insane power of the Grand Slam offer. You stop selling a cheap commodity and you start selling an expensive result. You essentially create a category of one where you and only you can command those premium prices.
Okay, deep breath. Let's put this all together. We've got the creator's philosophy from Rand, the success mechanism from Maltz, and the Grand Slam offer from Hormozi. Now, on their own, each of these is a really powerful idea, but when you stack them together, you get a truly unstoppable framework for success.
And here it is, the creator's stack. Your foundation is that philosophical why that gives you the right and the reason to win. Your operating system is the psychological how that literally hardwires your brain for success. And your application is the strategic what, your method for creating overwhelming value out in the real world. You see how each layer just perfectly builds on the last?
But it's so important to see this as one single integrated system. Think of it like a three-legged stool. A great offer in the real world just won't work if you're secretly running a failure mechanism in your subconscious. And a positive self-image is going to crumble if it doesn't have a solid philosophical foundation to rest on. The whole stack is only as strong as its weakest layer. So as we wrap up, I really want to leave you with this one question to chew on. Take a hard look at your own life, your own goals, your own business. Is your foundation solid? Is your operating system programmed for success? Is your offer out in the world totally irresistible? Which layer of your stack needs the most work right now? Because the answer to that question, well, that's your starting point.